Welcome to the pink side. I just wanted to help. Now I'm living as her daughter. My name is Danielle. I'm 24, a freelance graphic designer, and honestly a bit of a recluse. I've always worked from home. My world was screens and silence, project deadlines, color palettes, and endless cups of black coffee. Most days, I didn't leave my apartment. I didn't need to. It was easier that way, safer. You see, there was something about me that I never fully understood. Something I kept hidden, not just from the world, but from myself. A fascination, a desire, a quiet voice that whispered when I passed the women's section in clothing stores, when I watched makeup tutorials with the excuse of design research. Something that stirred every time I saw beauty and wished it could be mine. I never acted on it. Not really. Not until I met Emma. Emma was everything I wasn't: confident, curious, emotionally fearless. She had the kind of energy that lit up a room and made everyone feel like they belonged. She also happened to be my client. What started as a professional relationship, revamping the website for her small boutique, quickly turned personal. She was drawn to my quiet intensity. I was drawn to her chaos. Somehow it worked. At first, it was just dinners and coffee dates. But soon, I found myself spending whole weekends at her apartment. She had this warm, boho-style place filled with candles, long mirrors, racks of clothes, and a bathroom that looked like a Sephora exploded. To her, that was normal. To me, it was another universe. And slowly, without even realizing it, I started stepping into it. One night, after a glass too many of red wine, she leaned back on the couch and smirked at me. "You ever wonder what you'd look like as a girl?" I laughed nervously. "What?" "Seriously." She grabbed a throw pillow and hugged it. "You've got soft features. Feminine energy. I bet you'd be gorgeous." I shrugged, trying to play it cool. But my heart was racing. Emma leaned in closer. "Ever tried makeup?" I shook my head. She raised an eyebrow. "Wanna try now?" I looked at her. She looked serious. And in that moment, maybe out of curiosity, or maybe out of a deeper need I hadn't yet named, I said yes. The next hour was a blur of blush brushes, eyeliner, laughter, and awkward giggles. Emma was surprisingly gentle, encouraging. When she turned the mirror toward me, I barely recognized the person staring back. Big eyes, fuller lips, soft cheeks glowing with color. I didn't look like Danielle. I looked like someone else. Someone I could fall in love with. After that, things changed. It became a game, Emma's little makeover sessions. I never asked for them, but I never said no. And she noticed. "You like this, don't you?" she teased one night as she zipped me into one of her old cocktail dresses. I froze. She tilted her head. "It's okay if you do. I mean, it's not just a joke anymore, right?" I didn't respond, but the blush rising to my cheeks said enough. That's when she told me about her mother. "Her name's Vanessa," Emma said. "She's super glamorous, obsessed with appearances. And recently, she broke her foot and needs help at home." I nodded. "Want me to drive you over?" Emma smiled strangely. "Actually, I was thinking you could help her instead." I blinked. "Me?" "She's expecting a young assistant. Someone who can help around the house, keep her company. And she thinks I'm sending my daughter." "You don't have a daughter." Emma's grin widened. "Not officially." I laughed. "You want me to pretend to be your daughter?" "Just for a week," she said. "You'd be doing me a huge favor. And you've gotten so good at this. Seriously, she'll love you." I stared at her. It was insane. It was dangerous. It was exactly what I'd always secretly wanted. And so, with trembling hands and a heart full of fear, and something else, something terrifying and thrilling, I said, "Okay." That night, Emma gave me a new name. Danielle. Not just for fun. Not for a costume. But for a role I was about to live. 1 week, she promised. Just 7 days. I didn't know then what that week would awaken inside me. Or that once I stepped into Danielle's shoes, I might never want to take them off. Vanessa's house was nestled on a quiet suburban street. White picket fence, rose-lined porch, and 2 stone lion statues flanking the stairs like gatekeepers. I sat in the passenger seat, my heart pounding beneath a soft pink cardigan. My legs were smooth under a flowing floral skirt, and the wig Emma helped style framed my face in honeyed curls. My makeup was subtle but precise, foundation that blurred every trace of Danielle, mascara that made my lashes flutter when I blinked too fast. Emma gave my hand a squeeze. "You okay?" I nodded, but I wasn't. My whole body buzzed with adrenaline. She smiled. "You look beautiful. Just be sweet, polite, and helpful. Vanessa doesn't ask a lot. She just wants company."
"And don't worry."
I told her you're shy. I opened the car door, heels clicking on the driveway like gunshots. Every step toward the porch was a new risk. Vanessa opened the door before I could knock. "Oh my," she said, eyes wide. "You're even prettier than the pictures." I froze. Pictures? Emma hadn't mentioned that. Vanessa pulled me into a gentle hug, her perfume rich with lavender and power. "Well, come in, dear.
Don't just stand there like a statue."
My foot's killing me." I stepped inside, into a world of floral wallpaper, antique furniture, and walls of old family portraits. "I'm Vanessa," she said, limping slightly as she motioned to the couch. "And you must be Danielle."
"Danielle."
The name hit me like silk and thunder. I smiled softly. "Yes, ma'am." The first 2 days passed in a strange blur. Vanessa insisted on tea every afternoon, told stories from her modeling days in the 80s, and made me watch classic fashion shows on VHS. She was sharp, commanding, and oddly nurturing. She'd call out across the house, "Danielle, can you fetch my reading glasses, dear?"
Or,
"Danielle, darling, you really must learn to sit like a lady." I tried not to flinch every time she said it.
"Danielle."
It was like she truly believed that's who I was. By the 3rd evening, she brought out a velvet box. "These were my daughters," she said softly. She left them behind when she moved to London. She opened it. Inside, gold bangles, pearl earrings, a ruby red lipstick. She pressed the lipstick into my hand. "I think it would suit you." I should have refused. Should have said, "This is too much," or "I'm not really her." But instead I said, "Thank you." And I meant it. That night, I stared at myself in her hallway mirror. Hair curled just right, lips ruby red, bangles catching the chandelier light. And for the first time since arriving, I whispered aloud, "I'm Danielle." And I believed it. Emma visited on day 4. She brought groceries, checked Vanessa's cast, and made polite conversation. But something was off. Her smiles didn't reach her eyes. And when Vanessa excused herself for a nap, Emma pulled me aside. "You're really getting into this," she said, folding her arms. I blinked. "You told me to." "I know, I didn't expect you to be so comfortable." I frowned. "Are you mad?"
"No."
"I'm just confused. I feel like I dropped you off as Danielle, and now I don't even recognize you." "That's not fair," I whispered. She looked at me for a long time, then said, "Maybe not, but it's how I feel." And with that, she left. I stood alone in Vanessa's hallway, dressed in her daughter's silk robe, lips still wearing the lipstick she gave me. And for the first time, I felt afraid, not of being caught, but of being abandoned. That night, Vanessa called me into her room. She was holding a photo album. "Come sit," she said, patting the bed. I did. She flipped through pages of her daughter's life. First ballet recital, first pageant, senior prom. Then, without warning, she looked at me and said, "I know you're not her." The air vanished from my lungs. "What?" She closed the album gently. "You're not Rachel. I knew the moment you walked in." I stood up too quickly. "Then why did you?" "Because you wanted to be her," she said. "And I wanted a daughter again." Silence. She reached for my hand. "You make me feel young, Danielle. Needed. Like I'm still a mother." I bit my lip, tears burning. I didn't mean to lie. "I don't care," she said. "Just don't stop being her." Day 5 began with sunlight and soft music. Vanessa was humming in the kitchen as I made tea. But then came the knock. A man's voice. "Hey, Vanessa, it's your neighbor, Richard. Just checking in." She hobbled to the door, cracked it open, and waved him inside. "Richard, this is my helper, Danielle."
He smiled at me.
"Nice to meet you. You're her daughter, right?" I opened my mouth to correct him.
Paused.
And smiled. "Yes." He chuckled. "Looks just like you, Vanessa." Spitting image. I excused myself to the bathroom, locked the door, and stared at myself in the mirror. That word echoed again.
Daughter.
Not assistant. Not helper.
Daughter.
And I realized something terrifying and wonderful. I didn't want this week to end. Emma didn't visit again until day 6. I was in the garden with Vanessa, pruning roses, sun hat tilted over my curled hair, when her car pulled up. My heart jumped, at first from joy and then from dread. She stepped out in jeans and a black hoodie, no makeup, eyes hidden behind sunglasses. Vanessa smiled. "Emma, darling." Emma forced a grin. "Hey, Mom."
Mom.
That hit different now. She barely glanced at me. "You've really settled in," she said later, when we were alone in the guest room. Her voice was cold. "You're upset," I said softly. "I'm confused," she snapped. "You were supposed to help her, not become her daughter." "I didn't become." "Don't lie, Danielle." The name was acid on her tongue. "You sleep in Rachel's bed. You wear her perfume. You call her mom." I blinked. "She asked me to." "And you loved it, didn't you?" Silence. Then she said the one thing I feared most. "This was supposed to be a week. But you've already left Daniel behind." The next morning, I was pouring tea when the doorbell rang. Vanessa called from the hallway. "Danielle, dear, would you get that?" I adjusted my blouse and smoothed my skirt before opening the door. And froze. It was Eli, my college roommate. His eyes scanned me, confusion spreading slowly across his face. "Daniel?" I choked. "Eli, this isn't what it looks like." He blinked. "Are you serious? You're dressed like a..." Vanessa appeared behind me. "Oh, you must be Danielle's cousin." She smiled sweetly and took Eli's hand. "Come in, dear. We're just having tea." Eli sat stiffly, barely speaking. I was shaking. When Vanessa left the room, he leaned toward me and hissed. "What the hell is going on? Are you living here? Like this?" I whispered. It was supposed to be a favor. Eli's expression twisted. "You're in too deep." I didn't answer. Because he was right. After Eli left, I went straight to the upstairs bathroom, the one with the big mirror. I locked the door, peeled off the cardigan, and stared at myself.
Blouse. Skirt.
Pantyhose. Wig perfectly styled. Nails pink and glossy. But it wasn't a costume anymore. It was me. I reached up and removed the wig slowly. And for the first time in a week, I looked at Daniel. He felt like a ghost. Just shadows beneath foundation. I whispered, "Do I even want to go back?" The question hit harder than I expected. And I didn't have the answer. Vanessa's cast came off that afternoon. We celebrated with lemonade in the garden, the warm breeze carrying her laughter like petals on the wind. "You've been such a gift, Danielle," she said, touching my hand. "You brought life back into this house." "I should be thanking you," I said. She tilted her head. "You're not going back, are you?" The question hung in the air. I don't know." She smiled knowingly. "I always wanted a second chance at raising a daughter. And if you need a place, you have one here. Forever." My heart pounded. That word again. Forever. I was still reeling when I found a note under my pillow that night, written in block letters. "Stop lying. You don't belong here. Leave before you're exposed." No signature. I gasped, hands shaking. Had Eli written it? Or was it Emma? I didn't sleep. By morning, my nerves were shredded. Emma arrived unannounced. Her face pale. She tossed her phone onto the coffee table. "I got an email," she said. Attached was a photo. Me in Vanessa's house. Leaning against the banister, tea in hand, smiling like I'd always lived there. The subject line. Thought you should know who's replacing you. Emma's hands balled into fists. I trusted you, she whispered. This wasn't supposed to be permanent. I swallowed hard. It's not what you think.
No.
It's exactly what I think. She turned to leave. I followed her outside, tears rising. I didn't mean to replace anyone. You didn't have to mean it, she said coldly. You just had to want it. Then she drove off, leaving me there in a borrowed identity, wondering if I'd just lost the one person who started it all. The sky outside had turned gray, clouds boiling with the promise of a storm. Inside, the air was thick with something heavier than humidity, guilt, confusion, fear. Emma was gone. Vanessa was asleep upstairs, and I was standing in the guest room, staring at the crumpled note on my bed. You don't belong here. The words echoed inside me louder than thunder. I sat at the vanity, Rachel's old one. The one with the rose-carved edges and the little drawers that still held her secrets, dried perfume bottles, hair ties, a photo of her in a pageant sash. I opened the drawer. She'd kept her lipstick in. It was still there. The red one. The one Vanessa had given me. I twisted it open slowly. Its shape was worn down now, softened by recent use. I brought it to my lips, applied it
Perfectly.
and looked at the mirror.
Danielle.
She stared back. Not Daniel pretending. Not some illusion. But someone real. I touched my cheek. Then the doorbell rang. It was nearly midnight. No one should be visiting. I hesitated. But the doorbell rang again, sharper this time. I crept down the stairs, opened the front door just a crack, and froze. It was Emma, soaked by the rain, mascara smudged, hair plastered to her cheeks. Her expression was unreadable. I didn't send the photo, she said quietly. I blinked. What? I didn't take it. Someone else did. Someone who's been watching us. My blood ran cold. Emma stepped inside. You were right. This got out of control. But maybe not for the reasons I thought. What do you mean? She looked at me, really looked at me, then whispered. You look happy. I felt my throat tighten. I shouldn't be mad at you for that. She walked past me, toward the kitchen, her steps hesitant. Who do you think sent the photo? I asked. I don't know, but they've been inside the house. She pulled out her phone and handed it to me. There were more photos. One of me asleep on the couch. Another brushing my hair in the upstairs mirror. And then, a new one, just uploaded. It showed both of us, standing by the vanity. Taken from behind. From inside the room. I dropped the phone. A loud knock echoed from upstairs. Vanessa's room. We both turned. My heart stopped. She was supposed to be asleep. We ran up the stairs. Emma flung the door open. Mom? But the room was empty. The window was wide open. And on the bed was a single envelope. My name written on the front. I picked it up, hands trembling. Inside was a short letter. Vanessa's handwriting.
Danielle.
If you're reading this, then you've come farther than I ever imagined. I knew what you were from the start. I knew you weren't Rachel. But I needed to believe again. Needed to feel like a mother again. You gave me something no one else could. Peace. But now it's your turn to choose. The key in the drawer opens the chest in the attic. What's inside will help you understand everything. Whatever you decide after that.
Just know I saw her in you.
Love. Vanessa. I looked up at Emma. The attic. We climbed the narrow staircase together, flashlights in hand. The attic door creaked open with a groan that sent chills down my spine. Dust everywhere. Stacks of boxes. And in the far corner, a cedar chest. I reached it slowly. Opened the drawer below. Inside, a single silver key. My fingers shook as I inserted it. The lock clicked. And inside were rows of journals, old photographs,
And wigs.
makeup kits,
Heels.
dresses, more than I could count. A full wardrobe, all labeled. Rachel's second life. Emma covered her mouth. Oh my God. I stared at the contents and realized Rachel had been just like me. The final page of a journal lay loose at the top. In Rachel's handwriting. They'll never understand. But maybe someday someone will finish the story. I never could. Maybe she'll come back. Maybe she'll be me. Emma looked at me, pale as ash. I don't think Rachel ever left. We turned as a creak echoed behind us. Someone had just stepped into the attic. The door creaked shut, and the screen went black.